Welcome to my advanced guide to events. This is a follow-up from my beginner's guide to events, so if you haven't watched that video, please do so. In this video, I want to talk about three things. First of all, regarding unclaimed chests, which is something that I forgot to mention in the previous video. Then I will talk about the viability of buying the different catches and what kind of rewards can you expect from them. And then finally close the video with a little tip, trick, I don't know how to call it. Uh, Most of you will probably know about it, but on how to keep the enemy levels under control. So, first of all, this is very useful for new players. So let's say that you can play events, for example, at level 60, okay? You will get these rewards after the certain points obtained and the marks, obviously. If you don't open these chests at the start of the next day, because this is the daily gauntlet, here on your mail, you will receive an email with the unclaimed um, keys. So in this case, you will get one iron, one gold, one ruby, and one diamond key that will add up to your key wallet. Personally, I don't recommend opening any chest below level 100 because it's just a waste of keys in this case, or of time if you are using minions. So if you are not strong enough to hit level 100, my advice is just to leave them unclaimed. That being said, there is, I think it's a monthly um, um, how do you call it, reward here that asks you to open a certain number of event chests. I don't remember exactly how many, but make sure that you fulfill those requirements first. And again, in the daily gauntlet, it's just regular chests. I'm gonna go back to the maximum level, but as you can see, the point number changes, the type of chest changes, but the rest is the same. In the 3-day dungeon, remember that your third reward are gems, so you obviously want to open at least the first two chests to have access to the gems. The others, well, it will depend on your level. And finally, for the boss rushes, remember that the real prize here is getting to the maximum level for the guaranteed immortal mythic gear. This is one random piece of equipment that can be any of the 15 base sets that are in story mode. So it's one random item amongst 90 different possible options. And being immortal means that the quality will be at least 950. So that is a very high quality level that you can use then to, well, if the item works with your build, obviously use it. But if not, you can always re-roll the attributes because the attributes will be of a very high level and then transfer them to another piece of equipment. So here in the boss rush, you always want to open the chests as long as you have enough points to qualify for the immortal piece of equipment. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. As I said, I forgot to mention it in the beginner's video. Next, let's talk about the different gadgets. So each one of them will give you health potions and essences depending on the element. So this one is the ice gauntlet, and therefore you will get ice essences. You can use these essences in these events or in some, not all, but some adventures. Okay, in some of them you can use essences in general, not just ice, and healing potions. Okay, but that is the side thing that you're buying. Really, what you're buying is tokens, which are daily entries. So this is the daily gauntlet. Remember that in events we have one daily gauntlet that changes every day, one dungeon that lasts for 3 consecutive days. As you can see here, I have 2 days, 23 hours left. So this is the first day of the 3-day cycle. And once every 9 days, the boss rush, which also lasts for 3 days. There are two different bosses, the Scourge of Light, which is this one, and the can't remember right now the name of the other guy, but is Dark boss. This event is on for 3 days and off for 6 days, and then it rotates. So in 9 days, the dark uh, boss will show up. So, what do you get when you purchase these catches? There are 5 different levels, and they increase the cost for each one of them. So, the first thing we need to talk about is when you're playing events, there are 2 different things that you need to take into consideration. First are the points that are required to obtain the different chests, here in the daily one and here in the boss rush. As I said, this is the ultimate price that you really want to aim for, which costs at the maximum level, which is 120, 10,300 points. However, in the dungeon, you can get all of these chests with a maximum of 30,800 points, but there is also a leaderboard. And in this leaderboard, you will get additional gems at the end of the 3-day cycle. Now, remember that this leaderboard is full of veteran players, so unless you've been playing for a while and you have a very solid build, you are not going to make it into the top 10 or top 20 or even top 50. But that's perfectly fine. Okay, but I want to talk not about the points, but about the drops. So here, as you can see, on the right side, we have 5 different types of marks. These marks are of the same type as the chests, and they have the same names. So we have wooden marks, iron marks, gold marks, ruby marks, and finally diamond marks. And then you can spend these marks in the event rewards shop. I explained what you can find here in the beginner's video, so I'm not gonna repeat it myself, but especially for me, the ruby and the diamond marks are very, very valuable, as well as the golden ones for the spell dust then you can use for Sioni to craft spells. Here, at the maximum level, you need to spend 1 of her crystals and 4,000 um, spell dust, and you will get from 250 to 500 pages of the spell that you choose, which is very, very valuable. So let's going back to the events. In this daily event, for each fight, you face 5 enemies. And you get 1 mark drop for each enemy you kill. So every time you do 1 fight, assuming you win the fight, you kill all 5 enemies, you will get 5 random marks. It is possible to roll the same twice, or even 3 times, or even 4 times. So it's a random drop, but you're guaranteed to get 5 drops. Again, as you can see with the numbers, for example, with the diamond marks, you can get in between 8 and 12. So the drops will have a lot of variation, but you will get 5 drops. So normally you have 2 entries per day, but if you spend 100 gems, you will have 2 additional entries. 2 additional entries multiplied by 5 enemies per fight means 10 drops, which means that you're getting 10, 1 drop for each 10 gems that you spend. Okay? Again, it also depends on the difficulty. This is the maximum difficulty. So, for example, for Ruby marks, there is a 25% chance, and you will get in between 13 and 15. If we lower the difficulty to 60, for example, you will only have 19% chance for a Ruby mark, and you will get in between 8 and 10. So obviously, the higher difficulty, the more quantity you get, and the higher chance for the higher rarity marks. But it's not guaranteed. It's still a random drop. So, as I said, if you make this purchase, I'm gonna buy it right now, you will get 2 additional entries, and that will mean each additional drop will cost me 10 gems. Next, we have the Ice Cache number 2 that costs 300 gems and gives you 3 tokens. For this one, means that it will be 3 extra fights, meaning 15 extra enemies, and if we divide by the number of gems, it means that each extra drop will cost you 20 gems for those additional ones. I'm not talking about compound drops. I'm talking about each purchase separately. Now, let's go to show you the total numbers. So you can pause the video right here and see it for yourself. So the Catcher 1 costs 100 gems, gives you 2 additional fights, which means 10 additional drops, which means 10 gems for each drop. If you go for the Catcher 2 and do the math, you will find out that you're paying 20 gems for each additional drop. For the 3, you will pay 25 gems for each drop. For the number 4, you will pay 32 gems for each additional drop. And finally, for number 5, you will pay 48 gems for each additional drop. After Catcher 5, there are no more increases. You can buy an infinite number of Catcher 5s. Each one costs 1200 gems, which is a lot. And as you can see, the is not very valuable. Okay, but if you have the gems and you want to spend them, it's up to you. Next, let's talk about dungeons. Dungeons have exactly the same. The difference is that the dungeons run for 3 consecutive days. So when you buy one cache, it doesn't only apply on the day you buy it. It applies for all 3 days. Obviously, if you buy them on the first day of each cycle, they don't apply retroactively. So today that, as I said, we have 2 days, 23 hours remaining. If I buy it right now, I'm gonna buy it, okay? I will get 2 extra entries today, 2 extra entries tomorrow, and 2 extra entries on the 3rd day. So for a total of 6 additional fights. Now, each dungeon fight has 3 enemies, which means 3 drops. Here you can see at the same difficulty level, the drop chances and the amounts are exactly the same as the daily um, events. So, as I said, 6 additional fights in 3 days means 18 enemies, which means 18 drops. If we make the calculations here, um, give me a minute so I can get it ready. Okay. As you can see, with the calculations for the dungeons, the cache number 1 costs 100 gems, gives you 18 drops. Remember, this is in 3 days. This is not right now. This is after the 3-day cycle. But this will give you a cost of 5.55 gems for each additional drop. If you go for cache number 2, you will get 27 additional drops for a cost of 11.11 gems per drop. And you can see here the calculations for cache 3, 4, and 5. Okay? As you can see, they get increasingly less and less profitable. Finally, let's talk about the boss rush. As I said, there are 2 different boss rush. The first is the Scourge of Light, which is a single boss enemy. And the second one, I can't remember the name right now, so I'm gonna call him Shub-Niggurath or Yog-Sothoth or whatever, because it's obviously a Cthulhu reference. But the thing is that here, each enemy, either the light or the dark boss rush, gives you 3 drops. Even when it's a single enemy, it still rolls 3 drops. So for all intents and purposes, the boss rush works exactly as the 3-day dungeon. So going back here, all these numbers that I have for the dungeon apply to the boss rush exactly the same. So is it worth spending gems or not? That is up to you to decide. But if you want to spend gems, obviously the best bang for your buck is the cache number 1 for dungeons. The next one is the cache number 1 for the daily event that will give you 10 uh, I mean 1 drop for each 10 gems invested. And next will be the 300 gems cache number 2 for dungeon, as well as the boss rush, as I said. Okay, but this is only if you want to maximize your drops. Points are a different thing. Finally, I want to mention a great video by Born. I'm gonna get it ready. Okay, right here.
Hello, my friend.
So, yeah, sorry about those technical difficulties. This is his video. I will leave a link in the description of this video. But is Puzzle Quest 3 Sub-Zero gone crazy with 9 caches in the fire vent? So, yes, he purchased 5 Fire 5 caches plus the base 5 ones. So he got 41 fights every day. He did go crazy. But in this video, he makes a cost effect analysis on all the drops he obtained, which I think is quite useful if you want to see an example of what spending, I think it was a total of 7,700 gems, can give you. Personally, I think it's a little bit of an extreme example, but I'm glad he did it, so we don't have to. That's something that is always appreciated. So that was the second thing I wanted to talk about. Finally, the well, before I go to the last part of the video, as I said, that was the analysis, only thinking about the drops, only thinking about how many marks you can get to spend here at the shop. Obviously, if you want points, then you should spend as many gems as you need to get the points required, especially for the boss rush, to get the Immortal Mythic gear that is available once every 9 days. But obviously, it will depend on if you can actually do it. If you, for example, can only uh, defeat the level 61, uh, you will get a random piece of legendary gear instead. I'm not sure, level 90, you will get a sacred mythic gear, which, if I'm not mistaken, is over 650 quality. But yeah, it depends on the enemy level that you can take on, obviously. But in those instances, points will be very important for you. It's not so much how many drops can you get, but if you can get the necessary points to achieve your goal. So, on the last part of the video, here, and I did a video with my Warlock regarding the Scourge of Light. Check it out. It's the Purple Warlock build update number 1, where I defeat a level 164 Scourge of Light enemy. Here you can see that the all-time best was level 164. So if you buy the cache number 1 and you get 4 fights per day, it will mean that on day 3, the last fight, the 12th fight, will be at level 164 enemy. And a level 164 enemy hits hard. So if you are not ready to do that, there are 2 ways to lower the difficulty. Now, first of all, you can change the difficulty. The minimum is level 40 when you hit level 50. If you have a lower level character, you can play the level from 1 to 4, but after your character gets to level 50, this is the minimum level you can play at, okay? And 120 is the maximum one. This also works at a lower level, but this level, you can change it as long as you don't go to a fight and get points. The moment you enter a fight and obtain points, the level will be locked for the 3 days that you are playing this dungeon. Okay, so don't buy it more than you can chew. Don't try to go for a very high level, because if you are not able to defeat it, you're wasting 3 days worth of rewards. But let's say that you want to do the Dungeon of Ice in this case, and you want to do it at level 120. Okay? Again, this works even at a lower level. I'm just going to explain it and make this example at level 120. So let's enter with my Shaman. If I don't get a critical hit, I should be fine, because I'm not wearing a Ghastly Helm. Or, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna spend 1 essence. Oops, I should have spent two of them. That was a mistake. But it's all right. Okay, can I get a stunning row? Yes. No. No, I cannot. Hmm. Oh, yes, 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 I can. Okay, I'm safe. Perfect. Let's kill it. Goodbye. Next one. Goodbye. And the boss as well. I didn't want to do that, but it's fine. Goodbye. Okay, so I have defeated the enemy. I got my three drops here. I got one golden, one ruby, and one iron. Perfect. Now, as you can see, it says win streak 1, and the next fight is at level 124. At maximum level, every time you win, it will go up 4 levels for the next enemy, up to a maximum of 200. When you hit 200, it won't increase anymore. Now, as you can see, this can ramp up very quickly, and it can get very dangerous. So there are two ways to reset this number back to the base. When I say base, this is the dungeon level 12, which means that the base level will be 120. Okay? So these two ways are, number one, losing a fight. When you lose a fight, when you die in a fight, the game will give you the option to revive your character by spending 50 gems. If you say no and exit, or if you revive but die again, it only offers that once per fight, you will lose your win streak and the level will go down to 120. But obviously you don't want to die because you want the points and you want to get the uh, rewards, the marks. So if you die, that's less enemies dead, that's less mark drops. So what is the second option? Very simple. Change to a different character. This is my warlock, and if I try to start a battle, the game will warn you. You already have progress in this event with a different class. Using a different hero will reset your current win streak, and you'll enter battle with full life on this hero. Are you sure you'd like to continue? If you say yes, let's fight it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. This will take me a bit longer. But I think it's a good example. Let's do this, let's do this, and this, and this. Okay, should be ready to cast. No, this one. Yes, that's 6 imps out. Okay, all right, nothing here, and turn. All right. Kill this, kill that. Please note that the enemy level is 120 because it did reset back to base. And we got, I'm gonna explode these two. We got 12 imps. So the rest of the fight is a piece of cake. Unless one of the enemies has some kind of regeneration, which I don't think any of them have. Okay, this one, no. I was confused for a second. Okay, this one is dead. This one should be dead as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Goodbye. And the last enemy should be dead. Oh, okay. So this one has some type of regeneration or something. I'm not sure. Should be dead now. Well, it will be dead just by the damage from Eldritch Blast. Okay, that's fine. Let's wither it. And now I think he should die. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 3, 4. Out. Yeah. All right. So as you can see, I won. I got a double ruby mark drop, which is excellent. And as you can see, the enemy was level 120, and now I have a win streak of 1. And again, for the next fight, the enemy will be 124. So I can switch back and do this over and over and over. Now, remember that the points that you get will be depending on the level you're fighting. Obviously, if you fight level 200 enemies, you will get more points than if you're fighting level 120. So if you reset like this, you are going to get less points. So for the boss rush, for example, you need to play, see how many points can you get, and see if, for example, by purchasing the base cache number 1, which I'm going to do, if with 12 fights you will get the 10,300 that you need for this or not, okay? Lowering the difficulty obviously makes it easier, but it also lowers the points that you get at the end of the fight. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, that's fine and dandy, but I only have one working build. I cannot be switching between two completely different builds because I just don't have the resources for that. Okay, this is fine and dandy, but it's not useful. Well, here's the thing. You don't need to change your build. You need to change your character. So let's go back to my main shaman. If we do a fight right now, again, the same as before. The game tells me, hey, you already have one victory with a different character. Are you sure you want to do this? But what if I win one fight with this character and then I switch to a completely different character? A completely different character that just happens to be another shaman, which with the same spells and with the same gear as my main shaman. But it's a different character. So if I start a fight, the game will consider it a different character and it will still reset it. Now, there is a small print here. Let's go back to my main character. Here, as you can see, I have a level 43 defense scroll, level 45 offense scroll, a level 49 utility scroll. And I also have a level 47 spellbook. Getting your spellbook and your scrolls up to level 35 is basically free. You need to spend tons of gold, but gold is very easy to obtain, and you need to spend a good amount of shards. But shards can be farmed. watch my video on story farming, on how many shelves can you farm for each run, as well as other rewards, obviously. But it's something that you can easily do. So you can create a second character for your main build that will share the same spells and the same gear, but with level 35 scrolls and a level 35 spellbook. With this one, I don't have it at level 35 because I just did a story run with this one. So I just got it to level 50 to show you this example, but that's something that you can do. Will you be able to defeat a level 100 event with it? It will depend on the gear that you have. For example, in the case of my Purple Burn Warlock build, which I highly recommend for events. This is my main build for events. Yes, you can definitely uh, defeat a level 120 enemy with this build as long as you have a solid equipment. But with level 35 scrolls, yes, you can do it easily. With a different build, it will depend on what you have. But as I said at the start of the video, this is a little uh, trick or tip that you can use here to reset the level and prevent it from going up to crazy levels. Because as I said before, if you watch my Warlock video against the level 164 Scourge of Light, this enemy hits for around 250,000 damage, which you need some level of defenses to survive. Okay, that hits hard. Not gonna lie. Uh, while the level 120, I'm not sure if you can see it here. No, you cannot check it here, but hits for considerably less. Anyway, that was the video I wanted to do. I hope it was helpful. If so, please like, comment, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.